Namaste, welcome to Sujit Talks. My name is Sujit Pilar, registered migration agent here in Melbourne. This video is about 5 myths. 5 myths about ACS Skills Assessment in 2022, to be precise. I've been hearing stories from prospective migrants and migrants about ACS Skills Assessment. The first myth is ACS did not verify my experience, but in the skills assessment report, I got an unsuitable outcome saying that the experience was unverifiable. So that's the first myth, guys. ACS doesn't have to verify by calling your employer or emailing your employer and then take a decision and in the report saying unverifiable experience. Most of these applicants have got good payment evidence. Unverifiable doesn't mean that they do not have enough payment evidence. Because if they do not have enough payment evidence but have got everything else, or everything else was not still assessed but payment evidence was only assessed, the reason could be insufficient payment evidence. Here we are talking about unverifiable experience. Those people who think that by just generating payslips and also running payroll, they could turn experience, which is not really genuine experience, into genuine experience because they got payment evidence. They are mistaken, because payment evidence is not only the thing that ACS is looking at to call it verifiable experience. They will be looking beyond that. So I've got a detailed video about unverifiable experience and about what company profile is and what they could be looking at. But the myth here is ACS will verify to call it unverifiable experience. They actually do not have to, or they could simply check publicly available resources, open source, and social media also, websites and other things. Again, I'm getting into what they actually do or they would have done. Like I said, there's another video called Unverifiable Experience. The second myth in 2022 I've been seeing is that the applicants are not aware about ICT Security Specialist Assessment. ICT Security Specialist is a different occupation in terms of the assessment by ACS, because they're not just looking at ANZSCO description. And there's an article released by Information Age which comes on ACS website. Anyone following ACS news will know what is Information Age articles. They release every Tuesday and Thursday. And in one of those articles in 2020, 2 years, in fact 2.5 years ago, they have released an article about ICT security specialists, that they are not just looking at ANZSCO description and they do not want any occupations or to be assessed by ACS as ICT security specialist to have a lot of duties related to database and system admin. So even though ICT security specialist is in that unit group, it is to be assessed differently. Now we've got many applicants failing to understand this and going and lodging ACS skills assessments and getting unsuitable because they're not able to produce those roles in the reference letters because they are looking at the wrong ANZSCO description. So that was the second myth about ICT security specialists. The third myth in 2022 is about the ANZSCO description. 2022 new release we got recently, and 2021 we got last year. So some applicants are looking at the wrong ANZSCO descriptions 2022 and 21 because they are not adapted, they are not incorporated into ACS skills assessment because of a very simple reason that skill occupation list, we call it MLTSSL or STSOL or ROL, but there are not any ICT occupations in ROL. So MLTSSL, STSL are not updated since 2019. So if they're not updated, ACS cannot assess those occupations. And simply by going to ACS Skills Assessment website, you can download the current ANZSCO descriptions that ACS is assessing, except the ICT security specialist. So those are the ANZSCO descriptions that we should be looking at, not ANZSCO 2021 and 2022. Whenever there is an update about something in the migration industry, people will post it. Just because you got some links and some news doesn't mean that they are in effect. There are a lot of reviews going on from time to time under different governments, and you see governments change, and sometimes the new government, which is a different party to the old government, doesn't like what the old government has come up with in terms of recommendations. Sometimes they do not like their own recommendations. Any recommendation, any review doesn't mean that it's going to be incorporated. It's all related to politics. And this video is not about politics. So what I'm trying to say here is just look at ACS Skills Assessment website and what they have to say about their requirements and the ANZSCO descriptions. Do not go by headlines or news about different things at different times. So ANZSCO 2022 or 21 is not in effect in terms of ACS. ANZSCO, by the way, is released by ABS, not by ACS. And there's a separate video I made on ABS versus ACS for more clarity on this. So that was the third myth, guys. Now the fourth myth, this is 5. So fourth myth is about RPL. Writers and CDR writers. Those are the idiots that we have in this market or industry. Those idiots who promise that they will give you plagiarism-free RPL forms for a fee. And they have a lot of marketing, and they reach out to people in Facebook groups or forums, or they have email marketing, SMS, or they make phone calls, and even we are not spared. So they'll spam you and me and everyone involved in this migration profession. So these people who promise plagiarism-free RPLs are actually failing, and I've been seeing cases where the applicants have been taking services from these unethical and illegal operators in migration arena and ending up getting unsuitable outcomes. And ACS is assessing them as unsuitable because they are picking up plagiarism in their reports. And those reports were written by RPL writers or CDR writers. So the myth here is that if you go with RPL writers or CDR writers, you'll get a plagiarism-free and then you will get a suitable outcome. It's absolutely wrong. So do not ask anyone to write your RPL. Do not ask your friends to show their RPL who got successfully assessed. And do not think that you cannot write your own RPL. Again, there is another video about these RPL in my channel, Sujit Talks. The fifth myth of 2022, it's not only 22, but I've been seeing this ever since I have come to Australia more than 12 years ago. So before I came, after I came, and in the future also, I think I'll be seeing this. People will sit comfortably in their sofas at their house, and people who have migrated here like me became citizens, and then they keep giving free advice to their family and friends about migration. I would appeal to those people, stop doing it and refer your relatives or friends to migration agents registered like me. Go to mara.gov.au and find a migration agent registered. You don't have to just come to me, but go to any registered migration agent. I see many applicants saying to me that they were told by their relative, they were told by their friend, or even some stranger in a Facebook group or a forum on the internet saying that they have done this, they got the skills assessment result as suitable, and they are advising me to do this. First of all, it is illegal in Australia to give immigration advice unless you're authorized to do so under Australian law. So it's not only illegal but also very stupid of those guys to give free advice because they don't know what they're talking about. And as a result, many applications are failing because they simply are interpreting in a different way what was told, and the people who are telling also are not giving the right advice. And at the end, it's a myth that the family and friends are to be trusted because they've been here and they have an edge over the other people who are just trying to get ACS skills assessment. And I've been seeing this also. Some of them call me and say, my cousin is in India, or my relative is in Pakistan, or my friend is in another country which is not Australia, and they're overseas, and they are very naive and they don't know anything, but I know everything because I'm in Australia, so I'm reaching out to you on their behalf. Well, look, this is hilarious. First of all, we are talking about ICT professionals for ACS skills assessment, and anyone who says that they do not know anything and these people who are in Australia know everything just because they are here is laughable, because most of the times these people are so busy that they do not get to know a lot of things going on in their own industry. And when they talk about ACS and migration, it's a different ball game altogether. There's a lot happening all the time, and we as immigration professionals have to be updated all the time, and we have to do continuous professional development also to get registered every year. So the myth here is, do not believe in friends and families or random people on Facebook groups or forums. Facebook groups or forums are good for information such as processing time, how long did it take, and how long is it taking in the recent past, if there is any trend change. For example, ACS is now taking up to 3 months, and we are approaching Christmas time, and there will be a break for ACS as well at the end of this month and in the beginning of the next month, Jan 2023. So those were the 5 myths, guys, about ACS skills assessment in 2022. That brings an end to this video. My name is Sujit Bila, and you've been watching Sujit Talks on YouTube. Click on that bell icon if you have subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe it right now. I'm also available on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. I've got a Facebook group exclusively for ACS Skills Assessment. It's called ACS Skills Assessment for Australian PR. You might want to check that out. Like I said, these videos, Facebook groups are all general information. If you wanted specific advice, immigration advice or assistance concerning ACS Skills Assessment, all you have to do is go to my website, sujittalks.au, schedule a initial phone consultation session, which is free. And if you cannot get a slot there, and if it is urgent, then you can reach out to me by email, info@sujittalks.au. Do not text me, SMS or WhatsApp or any other social media, but simply email me to contact me. It's info@sujittalks.au. Namaste.